How are you guys doing? It is Friday, October 16th, 2020, here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to take you through yesterday's elite performances, especially in international soccer and through playoff baseball. And of course, I'll let you know what to look forward to today, as there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to on Friday, October 16th. But right now, I'm going to jump right into it. Starting with soccer, looking to yesterday's games, German champion Bayern Munich was able to beat FC Düren in the first round of the German DFB Pokal, which is the domestic cup. Düren is a Bundesliga 2 team, but Bayern Munich kind of put in their subs. They were able to beat them 3-0. Choupo Moting, their new striker from PSG, was able to get 2 goals, and Thomas Müller was able to score the penalty kick in the 36th minute to help Bayern Munich advance to the second round without having to use a good amount of their starters. They used a lot of young players, and they were still able to get the big win. I'm looking forward to today because there's a good amount to look forward to this weekend, but starting with the French Ligue 1, PSG is going to take on Nims, and PSG, if they're not at the top of the league on, then they're probably going to be eventually. I imagine they're gonna manhandle Nimes, and their game's gonna take place at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's the only big game to look forward to in terms of soccer. Continuing on, just looking out to see if there are any big games. Looking out for college football, 17th ranked SMU, who's undefeated. They're going to take on Tulane on ESPN at 6 o'clock. And at 9:30, 14th ranked BYU, who's 4-0, is going to take on 1-0 Houston on ESPN. And then, of course, tomorrow there's a lot of college football to look forward to. And last but not least, jumping to playoff baseball yesterday, starting with Game 5 of the American League Championship Series. After the Rays won, I believe, what was it, the first 3 games of the series, the Astros were able to keep themselves alive in Game 4, and they were able to win Game 5 to keep the series going. And yesterday, they were able to beat the Rays 4-3. Looking at to how the Rays performed, their starting pitcher would end up being John Curtis, but he'd only pitch 1.1 inning. He'd allow 1 run in that stretch. Fleming would get a good amount of relief pitching, as Josh Fleming would pitch 3 innings and allow 2 earned runs. The next pitcher would be Aaron Slagers, and then finally for at the end it would be Nick Anderson, who picked up the loss in the very end. Looking at to how this game played, the Houston Astros were up 3-1 at the end of the third, and then a run in the fifth and a run in the eighth tied it at 3. But then at the end of the day, at the bottom of the ninth, it would be a Carlos Correa home run that would win the game for the Astros and walk it off and keep them alive. For the Tampa Bay Rays on the offensive side of the ball, their second baseman Brandon Lau would go 1-for-5 with an RBI and a run as he had his first home run of the series. Their left fielder Randy Arozarena would go 1-for-5 with an RBI and a run as he had his third home run of the series. Their first baseman He-Man Choi finished 2-for-2 with an RBI and a run as he walked twice. Didn't miss base. He hit his first home run of the series as well. And then their catcher Mike Zunino would go 2-for-4 on the day. The Rays would finish with 7 hits on 3 runs. Looking at to how the Astros finished, like I said, they were leading 3-1 at one point, and then they eventually won on a walk-off home run. Their starting pitcher would end up being Luis Garcia. Garcia would pitch 2 innings. He'd allow no runs. He struck out 1 batter on the day. And then it was mostly just bullpen pitching. Ryan Presley would pick up the win in the 9th inning as he allowed no runs at 1.1 innings pitched, striking out 2 batters on the day. Looking at to how they did offensively, their center fielder, George Springer, would go 1-for-4 with an RBI and a run. He had his second home run of the series last night, of course, in the first inning. Their designated hitter, Michael Brantley, would go 1-for-4 with 2 RBIs as he had a really, really good game. Their shortstop, Carlos Correa, would go 1-for-4 with an RBI and a run. And, of course, his home run in the 9th was his second of the series, and, of course, he kept them alive. Their right fielder, Josh Reddick, would go 1-for-2 as he walked once he finished the run. And their catcher, Martin Maldonado, he finished 1-for-3 with a double, and then he'd eventually come around and score. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays still lead this series 3-2, as one more win in this series will clinch a spot for them in the World Series, and the Astros are still kind of playing on their last leg, and they've been able to win the last 2 games to keep them alive. Let's see if they're able to keep this streak up today. And then jumping into Game 4 of the NLCS from yesterday, after the Dodgers exploded for 15 runs in the first 3 innings against the Braves. The Braves were able to beat the Dodgers 10-2 in game four to take a 3-1 series lead. Looking at how this game fared, the Dodgers got the first run of the day. The Braves would tie it up in the fourth inning at 1. They would score 6 runs in the sixth inning to make it 7-1. Both teams would score in the seventh, of course, to make it 8-2, and then the Braves would score 2 more in the eighth inning, scoring 9 runs in the sixth, seventh, and eighth inning window for the Atlanta Braves to help them get a much needed win. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, their GOAT starting pitcher Clayton Kershaw would get the start. He would allow 4 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, striking out 4 batters on the day, as he was doing incredibly well up until he got to the sixth inning and they had to take him out. And looking at how their offense did, their elite right fielder, Mookie Betts, who they just signed this year, would finish 0 for 4 as he struck out once. Their third baseman, Justin Turner, would go 2 for 4 as he finished with a run. Their first baseman, Max Muncy, would go 0 for 2 as he walked twice. Their elite center fielder and former National League MVP, Cody Bellinger, would go 0 for 3 as he walked once. And then their designated hitter, Edwin Rios, would end up going 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his second home run of the series. He was able to hit it in the third inning. He was the only run scored off Bryce Wilson. Speaking of Bryce Wilson had an amazing game. He would pitch 6 innings, allow only 1 run off of 1 hit, of course, the home run to Edwin Rios. And then he would strike out 5 on the day. And then following that, Will Smith and Martin would combine for an inning. Maztek and Green would pitch an inning themselves. And the Braves would only allow 2 total runs as a team. Will Smith would allow the second run, but after registering 1 out, they were able to sub him out. Looking at how the Atlanta offense fared this game, their elite right fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr., would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs on the day. Their elite first baseman, Freddie Freeman, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. He had a really good game. Their designated hitter, Marcell Ozuna, would go 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs. Their elite second baseman, Ozzie Albies, would go 2 for 4 with a run as well. Their shortstop, Dansby Swanson, would go 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his second double of the series. Freeman hit his first double of the series this game too. Their left fielder and third baseman, Austin Riley, would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And of course, their center fielder, Christian Pache, would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Atlanta Braves now lead this series 3-1, and with one more win, they will earn they're 27 outs away from their first World Series appearance since 1999, and they very well could do it. And that's how yesterday was looking out to today's games and how they're scheduled. Of course, starting with the first game of the day, it'll be Game 6 of the American League Championship Series between the 6th seed Houston Astros and the 1st seed Tampa Bay Rays. It'll be Blake Snell making his second start of the series against Framber Valdez. Blake Snell had an amazing game 1 in the series, and looking back as to how Blake Snell performed in game 1, he was able to hold the Astros to 1 run in 5 innings pitched, striking out 2 batters, and he's looking to try to repeat that performance to try to see if he can secure a spot in the World Series for the Tampa Bay Rays. And at 9:08 at FS1, it'll be the Braves' turn. It'll be the Braves' chance to try to see if they can close the series out as well and clinch a spot for them in the next round. Dustin May is going to get the start for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Braves have not yet announced their starter, but this game will be on FS1 at 9:08 Eastern Standard Time tonight. And with that said, it is Friday, October 16th, 2020. Out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and I want to thank you for listening to all 9 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well, and peace out. Have a good one.